Sung, spoke the wind. With you all who hear, I whisper a song, a secret, a siren song of a mermaid, the story of mermaid and deception. The story of mermaid and deception grew from under the cloak of mystery. Underneath the pyramid is the mermaid. It is there that is the afterlife. All who drowned and all who remembered the breath. The water parted her veil, and there be two of her children, mermaid and deception. Before mermaid became mermaid, they wore many parts: turquoise, moonstone, cobalt, and minerals. A collective of precious stones, the colour of amethyst and lapis lazuli, that bobbled and wobbled on the ocean floor. And as water met the wind, under the watchful eye of moon and stars, they kept splitting apart. The precious stones split apart and split into the fish. They split and halved out a fish and a foreign form, a form that felt foreign to the ocean floor, a human form who waited for the wind to be able to breathe. The story of the sapien started in the sea, but fish and human, two sides of split, lived out their lives apart. The human followed the laws of the land, whilst the fish schooled an altogether different sea. Sometimes to the other, fish and human made offerings. Sometimes for the other they'd help and care, but they often fought and mistreated, competed, battled, and misunderstood. And watching their offspring bicker and fight, the land and the water made an agreement. They made an offering and a sacrifice, a bond for eternity. For fish and human to always play fair, the land and sea brought them out of their duel, from competition to cooperation, and birthed Mermaid. Thus were the origins of Mermaid, a reminder for the fish and their sapient friends of what it means for two forces to come together and unite, like harmony, a bond of balance for eternity. Deception was not born of such origins. There were not grand narratives nor ceremonial proceedings that signified their conception. They did not just appear out of thin air nor thick water, but traditions told from mouth to ear, body to body, soul to spirit. Traditions told did not remember from where came deception. By some, it was remembered what it was like in a world without deception. But at the same time, it was like they were always there. And deception felt such a fate. Mermaid must have felt like the chosen one. So, thought deception, they would just hide behind forgetfulness. There are some stories that are not told. There are some stories that merely don't exist. But it is the common fate of many stories that they remain in the realm of the forgotten. Mermaid lived out their life by the water's edge, surface side, between worlds, close enough to the breath. That space when the water meets the air, surface. Deception hid deeper down than that, further down, disguised by depth and forgetfulness. Deception hid deep. It was one day that Mermaid was diving in and around the water's edge. The dipping diving birds paddled their feet, and Mermaid flapped around with the whales, shooting confetti fireworks of salt spray and bubbles from the blowhole. Mermaid propped her face beyond the surface, up close in council with me. The wind took a breath, a pause, a sigh that sounded like regret. Mermaid came to the surface and asked me if I knew of why deception lived a life hidden away. I remember all secrets and stories that hide behind forgetfulness. It is my fate as the wind. And when a curious soul arrives to me, inquisitive, to share with them is but my greatest joy. And so with Mermaid I did share. Deception hides in the deep down depths where others dare not reside, for they forgot to impart the special. Within their life they never learnt, from themselves or others, of how precious they are, how precious it all is. Deception hides in the deep down depths, somewhere behind forgetfulness, believing they are forgotten. Deception believes the world can go on without them because they are of no significance. Deception believes that you, Mermaid, are like a chosen one, special, more special than something less special, more special than a less special them. Mermaid looked all confused and said, "But I am special," as if offended. "Yes, you are," I said, "but no more special than deception. No more special than anything else. It's all precious, every part of it, every one of us." Mermaid felt the sad fate of feeling worthless. She thanked me, and Mermaid left my side. She took my words and went diving down into the ocean's deep, deep down in search of deception. "Deception, where do you hide?" called Mermaid. "I am here, right where you left me." The faint sound of a response propelled Mermaid to dive on in search of a hidden deception. Deeper, darker waters, down to the ocean floor and root base of kelp forest. But the deeper down Mermaid searched, it all became altogether too hard to breathe, and the lost feeling of searching for the forgotten left Mermaid feel like they would drown. And so up Mermaid did swim, back from the base of ocean's floors, propelled forward, back up, with a rush of blood in search of the breath. And when back to the surface, that of in between, that place where the water meets the air, Mermaid took breath, and with breath took my counsel. "Dear wind," Mermaid called to me, "why does deception hide away?" Like all souls who become lost in the depths of forgetfulness, Mermaid had forgotten. And when a curious soul arrives to me inquisitive, to share with them is but my greatest joy. Whether they come to me to learn or relearn, it is not my fate to judge, and so I did share. Mermaid listened to my words and felt the sad fate of another feeling worthless. She took my words and went diving again. "Deception, where do you hide?" called Mermaid. "I am here, right where you left me." And with the faint response, Mermaid went diving in search of hidden deception, delving deeper into the depths of forgetfulness, until near suffocating, drowning, and lost. And so back up to the surface they would return, up to the breath, up to take counsel and hear stories of the past, only to get lost in the forgotten all over again. And so was the fate of Mermaid, playing a forever game of hide and seek in search of a hidden deception. And this is why Mermaid, the gift of unity of the land and sea, can only sometimes be seen by the humans. Sometimes Mermaid could be seen on the surface, close to memory, and sometimes Mermaid was hidden in the deep depths of the forgotten. And that is why deception exists, feeling far from special, hiding from the stories of the past. Thus is the story of Mermaid and deception, a story of where the land meets the sea, where the fish finds their sapient half, a story where memory meets the forgotten, a story of magic and deception. The wind whispered her song, a song sung and lost as the wild winds of erosion.